Yeah,
All
my
right.
brother and
Hello,
Hi.
everyone. And
Herb, I found
welcome.
the video.
Yeah, no, I saw. Welcome back to Tyrion Cuthbert, Attorney of the Arcane.
Ruh Roh.
Ruh Roh.
Alright, everyone. Good stream. See you next week.
Yep. We're a little early today. We've got a little bit of a migraine, so we're gonna try and wrap things up earlier, but we could start early, so it's fine. It's fine.
Wow. Sounds like a real headache.
I'm in the middle of a Discord mod fight with another Discord mod, so let me know if one of my lines comes up.
That also sounds like a migraine.
No, it's a fun fight. We're trying to get a name priority on the server.
I see.
Alright. Midnight. Take the steel chair, do a crime.
Take the steel wind.
The court is now resumed for the trial of Beatrice Frega. Let us review yesterday's proceedings. There was much debate over William Frega's inheritance. More specifically, it was unknown whether the defendant had any claim to her father's inheritance. This detail was crucial in determining whether the defendant even had a motive to commit the murder. Luckily, the victim's will was supposedly read earlier today, and it is now a part of the public record. What were the results of the will reading, Mr. Cuthbert?
William Frege was planning to leave all of his assets to Jaden von Sanctus, his hopeful son-in-law. However, this was predicated on the condition that Jaden marry the victim's daughter, Life. LaFay? And it's clear that Miss LaFay will never follow through on this engagement. If the engagement is not made in 6 months, William Frege's assets would be divided among his 3 daughters.
I see. So there was no mention of the defendant's disinheritance.
Correct, Your Honor. This means the defendant did have something to gain from the victim's death.
Your Honor, despite the confusion around the victim's inheritance, there is still very little physical evidence that implicates my client.
May I remind you that William Frege was not telling the truth in yesterday's proceedings. That itself is extremely suspect.
And William Frege was clearly not above manipulation and lying. You can't prove that she knowingly gave false testimony.
I'll admit that I can't prove that. I'll also admit that there's a lack of apparent physical evidence to substantiate our case, which is why the prosecution would like to call Harold Haroldson to the stand.
Lord Haroldson?
The Sword of Spell Eating clearly plays a large role in this murder, and its theft is one of the few pieces of physical evidence in this case. As the gallery's curator, I believe he can further elaborate on how the sword was stolen that night. More specifically, you can find out about what he did on the night of the murder.
I see. Well, the court would definitely benefit from his insight. Bailiff, please escort Lord Haroldson to the stand.
Witness, please state your name and occupation for the court.
Of course. My name is Harold Haroldson. I am the owner and curator of the Haroldson Hall of History, located in Holmhearth.
I can't believe they took his fucking monkey.
That's quite the alliterative occupation.
Harold, could you please testify to the court about how you discovered the Sword of Spell Eating was stolen?
Harold.
If it will help.
I was genuinely expecting him to say, Harold, if it'll help.
I was keeping an eye on my gallery's exhibits when I realized that my familiar hadn't returned. I called to him telepathically, but he didn't respond. I became worried, so I went around the manor to search for him. About an hour later, I returned to the gallery and discovered that the exhibit that held the Sword of Spell Eating was completely destroyed. The artifact was missing, so I reported the crime to the knights at the ball, and they deactivated a discreet lockdown. Luckily, we found the sword and my familiar later that night.
So you went to search for your monkey, and that's why you didn't witness the theft.
Yes, the thief was probably waiting for me to leave. They must have wanted to commit the crime without anyone seeing them.
Or his testimony is completely full of it. His search for Eugene must have been a cover that he's using to hide his actions that night. So how do you prove that? Also, we're in a weird position where we're the prosecutor. Why are we cross-examining right now?
I mean, I assume Ruby is also gonna be like examining, but like she's just gonna be saying things in response to ours rather than.
Yeah. So I'm not immediately recalling like what would be contradictory here.
I mean, let's be honest. The whole reason we're doing all this, even though we're the prosecutors, is because Celeste will complain again if we don't.
Yeah.
She'll be
She's
like,
right,
"No,
you
this
know.
is weird."
That's very fair. Alright. Let's just go through it. Are you referring to Eugene?
Eugene?
Eugene Haraldson, Your Honor. It's the name of the witness is familiar.
Yes. Eugene is a spry orangutan monkey. He helps with my day-to-day. Oh, I see.
Anyway, you said he hadn't returned. Does this mean he left you earlier in the night?
Yes. He always likes to explore large buildings like Frega Manor. But he usually doesn't leave for that long.
Does he typically ignore you like that? I mean, we know why he didn't respond.
Sometimes. He's a young boy, so he likes to have his privacy.
Oh, I see.
I try not to pry, but I was wary of what would happen if a noble or a knight came across him. He usually knows not to bother people, but you never know what might happen.
You left the gallery room.
Yes. As I said, I was worried that something had happened to Eugene.
Where did you go during the search?
Eugene usually knows to stay out of people's bedrooms, so I went downstairs and searched for him there. I checked the bathroom, sitting room, and coat room. Then I finally checked the kitchen and pantry. I might have gone there to steal some snacks.
But you didn't find him in any of those places.
No, I didn't.
If I recall correctly, the glass was completely shattered. This is despite the presence of several abjuration spells that protected it.
Yes, it would have taken an extremely powerful spell to break it like that. As you saw, the glass display was shattered into shards.
Unless Harold had a way to dispel that magic, a powerful mage must have destroyed it. Perhaps Harold and Beatrice shatter the glass before she went to the ballroom. The Sword of Spell Eating makes its wielder immune to magical effects. What use would the lockdown have been?
Honestly, not much. The wielder would have been immune to the anti-magic fields and the spells that prevented people from leaving. But at that point, the Kingsguard just wanted to activate it for good measure.
His statement just now is missing some details, but what details should you ask him to elaborate on? Probably Eugene, right? Because we know where Eugene went. Because we know where the sword went. Hang on. How did you eventually find Eugene that night?
After an hour of silence, he finally responded to my telepathic messages. He met up with me in the gallery before he went to search for the sword.
So this would have been after the theft was reported.
Yes.
He would have had to pick up Eugene after he murdered Lord Frega. This must be the alibi they're using to account for the time that no one could see Eugene. Anyway, this detail could be extremely important. Please add it to your testimony, witness.
Harold.
Yes, of course, Harold.
He says that he went around the manor to look for Eugene. Do you think he's telling the truth?
Maybe, but his so-called search for Eugene gave him a good excuse to not be seen by anyone. It's a decent alibi, if not without its flaws. You'll just need to poke some holes in that alibi. Alright.
Oh.
met up with him in the gallery room before they finally found the artifact.
There's an idea. I have an idea.
Yeah, go for it. I'm still workshopping some ideas on where the...
I think Harold was the flying rat.
What? Oh, yeah, no, sorry. Wait, Harold? What?
You mean the monkey, Eugene?
No, I mean Harold.
What?
Huh?
Elaborate.
Yeah, please elaborate.
Very confused on that one.
Please share your work.
Tracker saw a flying rat.
Yes.
Eugene doesn't fly.
Yes.
He does jump
There's-
good, though.
There are also other familiars that could have been active.
Yeah, we still need to figure out where Beatrice's familiar is. Because that's also a thing. So where... Hang on. Where was this? It was between... north of Beatrice's bedroom. And the gallery's over here. So it was between these two rooms that the sword was stolen. Wait, what the fuck? How? Huh? Flying rat come from the northern air vent. Why the fuck was the sword in that room? Hold up.
In what room?
In Beatrice's room.
Because
Because Tracker took it back to Beatrice's room.
No,
so
after... Oh.
Kurt. Reminder, the rats came from one vent, were going into another. He barked, made them drop the sword. He took the sword and brought it into Beatrice's room.
Yeah, but the flying rat came out of the northern air vent as well. Like, with the sword.
They came from an air vent, but the air vent has not been said to connect to, or like
Was it not?
Beatrice's room. It's just connected in the hallway. Look in the floor plan for the floor below as well.
This one?
The storage room is directly under. There's so they.
Oh,
and
that's right.
where the-
Sorry, yeah, no, you're right. It does snake down.
Mhm.
Gotcha. And the murder was in the study, right? So, yeah.
Mhm.
Hmm. Hold up. Let's have him... What about the sword? How did you eventually find the sword of spell eating?
The King's Guard and I slowly and carefully checked each room in the manor. After about an hour, we finally found the artifact under the bed in the defendant's room.
That must be where Tracker hides the sticks that he founds. Now that you think about it, he's probably the one who stole Celeste's sword in the first place. Detail could be important. It's been a hot minute. Kingsguard found the sword of spell eating in the defendant's room. That sounds...
No, that was us. That was a no. Wait, no. That was the King's.
No,
Guard,
we found Celeste's sword.
I know.
I didn't mean to do that. The sword one I think is correct though. I think if there's anything, I think it's Eugene. When wielded by a creature, the creature and anything are immune to harmful magical effects. Harmful magical effects? That... Hang on. I don't think I actually recognized that the word harmful was there. It's not all magical effects, it's just harmful ones. Interesting. That might come up later. Ba-ba-ba-ba. Not the modified will.
I don't think
Beatrice.
guard
All by...
displays can be broken with a password.
That's fine. I feel like it's probably Tracker's testimony, but like...
So, also to bring up part of the timeline. Supposedly, if Harold is telling the truth, he lost contact with Eugene before the
Okay.
discovery
Sorry,
of-
no, yeah, this hallway up here. Not between these two. It's the one above Beatrice's bedroom. I'm dumb.
Yeah.
Okay, I understand now. And that one connects down to the first floor. Gotcha, okay. Goes through the storage room up and then... Gotcha. I wish they had the vents on that, but whatever.
Do we have anything on anti-magic under spells?
I think so. Yeah, right here.
While concentrating on the spell, the caster forms a 10-foot radius sphere that nullifies all magic within it. Any spell effect that enters the sphere instantly dissipates, and any mage that tries to cast a spell within this zone will fail to do so. If this zone of anti-magic overlaps with any other magical nullification effect, the two effects will cancel each other out.
Do we know how long the anti-magic was up?
I think so. Hang on. Rats in the vents! Does it not actually say?
Hold on, go back to the lockdown system.
By the way, Curb, I just want you to know, I will be using Von Sanctus's voice for something for like, for Fate.
Oh boy, doesn't help that I have a bit of migraine.
I don't think how long the field was up is
As relevant.
important,
Yeah.
as relevant, other than just the fact that
I mean, I'm just curious if it was still up when he supposedly made contact with Eugene again.
It's a good question.
Because
Well,
if it was still up, he shouldn't have been able to
go
make
back
contact
to
with
his
you.
go back to his testimony, because I'm curious. After an hour, Go back to the... An hour later, I returned to the gallery, saw the exhibit was destroyed. I reported the crime and activated a discreet lockdown.
So at that point, anti-magic is up.
That was an hour after his first attempt of contacting Eugene. Then what's next? They.
Oh, there it is. Okay, gotcha.
Before they found the artifacts.
Yeah. I think it is the anti-magic, yeah, that sounds right. This sounds correct, right? We'll try it.
Oh,
Okay, there we go. Yep.
There
Nope,
we
that's
go.
it. That's it. That's it. All right. Overthinking things. Don't worry about it, guys.
it's been a week and our host has a migraine.
Yep. Nope. It's fine. Yeah. No. Min was right. When the anti-magic field went up was important. Harold, you found Eugene before you went to search for the Sword of Spell Eating. This would mean that happened while the lockdown was still active. Am I correct?
Yes. As much as I was worried about the artifact, Eugene's safety was far more important.
That's the thing, Harold. You said after hours of silence, you finally received a telepathic message back from Eugene.
What?
So that leaves one question. How did you communicate with Eugene telepathically if you were both within an anti-magic field?
What?
Harold, in response to the theft, the Kingsguard activated the lockdown system to prevent anyone from leaving. In that same lockdown system would have placed an anti-magic field over every inch of that manor. That field should have suppressed the telepathic abilities given to you by familial bond. You wouldn't have been able to speak with Eugene at all.
Mr. Cuthbert, are you accusing the witness of lying in his testimony?
Please, Cuthbert is blowing this entire thing out of proportion. Anti-magic field is a resource-intensive spell. We can't assume they managed to cover every inch of the manor, especially the areas that would only be accessible to a small animal.
Miss Tamora, let's assume that Eugene managed to reach some sort of blind spot in the lockdown system. The magical telepathy granted by familial bond connects two people. Even if Eugene wasn't affected by anti-magic field, Harold would be.
That's very true. So how did I hear him that night?
There's only one answer that makes sense, Harold. You did hear Eugene telepathically. Because Eugene was wielding the Sword of Spell Eating.
Wait, what?
I'm sorry, Mr. Cuthbert. But are you saying that the Sword of Spell Eating was stolen by the witness's pet monkey?
I am, Your Honor. It's the only way that witness's testimony makes sense. She doesn't have a rebuttal. You should push this while you still have a chance. Harold Haraldson, you were the one who stole the Sword of Spell Eating, weren't you?
And what reason would I have to steal something that already belongs to me?
It was to take suspicion off of you, because you were the one who had William Frege killed. You staged a robbery and used the Sword of Spell Eating to make Eugene invisible. Then you sent him through the manor's ventilation system, also you could have him murder William Frege in his study.
Well done, Cuthbert. Suppose you can't stop yourself from pursuing a lying witness.
It's what I do best, Miss Tamora.
Of course. Witness, you have anything to say in your defense?
It's quite obvious, but I completely refute the prosecution's allegations. He's misguided. but he's just doing his job.
You were expecting his thoughts to be hostile like before.
And do you also refute your statement about Eugene telepathically speaking with you?
I know better than to lie on the stand to try to save myself. I can't explain how it happened, but I stand behind my testimony. Eugene did telepathically contact me during the lockdown, but how did he do it?
Wait, so he doesn't know how the telepathic communication happened? Perhaps he overlooked it when he was planning the murder with Beatrice.
And that's your position, Cuthbert? That the witness sent a monkey to murder William Frege?
It may sound ridiculous, but it's the only thing that makes sense.
Bullshit.
Or do you have any evidence to refute that, Miss Tamora?
In Cuthbert's defense, monkeys are
fair.
fucking freaks.
Ruby's fine with this because it still gets Beatrice off the hook.
No, I fully and wholeheartedly agree with you, Cuthbert.
Wait.
Mitty.
Tyrion?
Mr. Cuthbert, did you forget yet you were prosecuting Beatrice Frege?
Your Honor, even as a prosecutor, it's clear that Cuthbert just can't stop himself from finding the true culprit.
Wait. I also meant to say that the defendant conspired with the witness to commit the crime.
Oh, really? Do you have any proof of this conspiracy to commit? Of course you don't.
But even so,
But let's assume you did have evidence to prove your statement. If this really was a plot formed by my client and the witness, what would my client even contribute to this plan? From what you said, this plot was completely carried out by Lord Haraldson and his familiar.
Ruby, why are you
Well-
throwing us a bone?
the glass. He would have needed a powerful mage like the defendant to break the sword's display case and stage the robbery.
Though her contribution to the murder was breaking some glass. Can you prove my client shattered the display case? And can you prove that she did so knowing that it would somehow lead to her father's death?
You might have gotten a little too eager to prove Harold's guilt.
Everyone just like that one gif of like everyone face palming.
Yep.
The physical evidence against my client was almost non-existent in the first place. Meanwhile, it seems the prosecution has just brought forward physical evidence that implicates Lord Haraldson. Physical evidence that is supported by his own testimony.
There has to be some explanation for this.
Cuthbert, didn't you ask me something yesterday? If my client didn't kill the victim, then who did? I suppose I should thank you for finding the answer.
I meant all you did was make it more difficult to prove your case. But Harold has to be involved in this. You weren't wrong about that. Only Eugene would be small enough to traverse the air vents. So isn't there anything else you can use? With the threat of indictment, Harold must be stressed. It's gotten you out of tight spots before. Maybe you can find the evidence in his mind.
You can use every trick you have, Cuthbert. It won't help you.
Ignore her. Calm your mind and focus the Eye of Horus on him. You have to find something, anything, that might tie the murder to Beatrice.
Empowered eye.
Oh, wrong sword.
I can't believe that one of my artifacts was used to commit a murder. That's completely disrespectful to the culture and history behind it.
Well, he's speaking as if he truly had no hand in this. But that can't be true, can it?
Eugene, Just what were you doing that night? Did you really wield the sword, if only for a brief moment?
Wait, he should have known exactly where Eugene was that night. What? Why wouldn't his thoughts say that?
Question. The armbands.
Yep.
The armbands of intellect are still missing. But I inspected it closely before the Lord's ball. They were still there when I moved them to Frigga Manor. Someone must have stolen it during the ball.
Right, you never did figure out what happened to the armbands. Would there seriously have been a second theft here?
Not one, but 2 artifacts were stolen during the Lord's ball. I never expected anyone to completely bypass my security like this.
What? What? Tracker! No. What about the earrings?
At least the earrings of vitality were left untouched. It's one of the few artifacts that's left that's imbued with the Scaled Lord's power.
Okay, he doesn't have any thoughts on that. I guess what about William Frege?
William. It's a shame that things ended up this way. I truly hoped I could show you the value of Ivangard's history.
Do you know what the murder weapon is? Nope. Cool.
Von Sanctus.
What about the rats? No,
Anti-magic field.
that's not a bad idea.
Young Tyrion's argument makes sense. I shouldn't have heard Eugene when the lockdown was active. What is going on here?
Invisibility. No. We'll get there. What about Eris? No. I just had to.
Always Eris.
It's truly a shame that Beatrice was driven to flee from her own family. If only I'd introduced myself to her, perhaps we could have found a solution together.
There we go. He doesn't know Beatrice? But how? She planned the murder with him! What? What's going on? He's speaking as if he really had no hand in this. You can guard yourself from the Eye of Horus, but you can't lie to it. And if that's true, were you wrong about Harold's involvement? Is he really innocent?
See anything, Cuthbert? Your Honor, it's clear the prosecution has nothing left to argue. There's very little evidence implicating my client, and there's a far more likely suspect in front of us right now.
Yes, I must agree, Miss Timora. At the very least, I see no reason to prolong this trial any longer.
Wait! Beatrice couldn't have personally done this. Discounting the fact that she's completely blind, she was with the 2 princes for most of the night. So who actually killed William Frege in his study? Think about this. The reason why you suspected Harold in the first place was because of what Tracker said. We should probably do this, Sai.
That's
Oh wait,
you,
no,
though.
that's me. Tracker's
No,
vocabulary is
fuck off.
primitive and limited. He uses words like rat to describe small creatures that hide and act suspiciously.
But even if it wasn't an actual rat, it still couldn't have been human, right?
You're right. It would have to be a small. It would have been a small animal. A small animal with the strength and dexterity to traverse small air vent while holding a sword. Tracker definitely saw some kind of animal. Was it someone else's familiar? There we go. Another familiar. What? What? Wouldn't have entered those air... Why was Eugene in the Aerovens? You know Harold didn't participate in the murder, but did he know what Eugene was doing that night? Harold was not acting... Wait, what?
Harold was acting to frame Harold.
Eugene was acting of their own free will.
Yep. Eugene was acting of his own free will. That's the explanation that makes the explanation that makes the most sense. But how and why? Harold is the only person that is magically connected to Eugene. And even if Beatrice somehow got Eugene to follow her orders, she wouldn't have been able to direct his actions telepathically. Beatrice couldn't use any other conjuration spell to contact him either. She was also in the anti-magic field when she was with Esther. So if Eugene was the one who murdered William Frege, was he acting independently? No, that couldn't be possible. The plan required knowledge of Frege Manor's ventilation system. It also involved murdering William during the lockdown and destroying his will. Eugene might have been smart for a monkey, but a normal monkey wouldn't have known how to identify and destroy William's will. Even if Beatrice had somehow trained him to do all that beforehand. Harold wore the armbands of... Not Harold. Eugene. No, it couldn't be.
I discovered that the armbands of intellect had been stolen as well. But unlike the sort of spell eating, we still haven't found the armbands.
You look at the glass case where the armbands used to be. The thief didn't shatter the glass.
Exactly. Moreover, the armbands were actually replaced with a very well-made replica. The magical locks in this case can be disabled.
How are they normally disabled?
They can be turned on and off using a spoken password.
How many people know this password?
Only myself. I personally oversee the transport of these items when they're moved.
Eugene knows it as well. Eugene is always around him. Someone could have overheard him saying it. Someone that's constantly looking over his shoulder. Oh, you've made some ridiculous statements in the past, but there's no way the judge will even entertain this theory. You'll have to be smart about this. Your Honor, I think there's one more witness that can clear up the discrepancy once and for all.
Herb, you were a little wrong on who you're calling to the stand.
I believe he can prove the prosecution's case to the court.
Really? Frankly, I find that hard to believe.
Please trust me, Your Honor. There's an element to this that we're all not seeing. And it's one that no one will believe.
What do you have planned now?
Very well. I'll give you one last chance, Mr. Cuthbert. But know that if your next witness fails to unveil any new information, I won't hesitate to end this trial.
I understand, Your Honor. So, I'm gonna need you to bear with me for a moment.
Why?
Your Honor, the defense calls Eugene Haraldson to the stand. The music immediately cuts out.
Never mind. I retract my earlier statement. I'll be passing my verdict.
Wait, just bear with me for a moment.
Mr. Cuthbert, I should find you in contempt for even suggesting this. Do you honestly think I'll allow a monkey to give testimony in my courtroom?
Yeah, it sounds pretty out there, even for us.
I'd like to remind the court of the nature of Harold's bond with Eugene. Eugene is a familiar. This means that Harold Haraldson can speak with him telepathically.
But this is absolutely...
Show me the law that says an animal can't give testimony, Your Honor. There's no rule that says a dog can't play baseball.
There's no rule saying I can't defend Orca in court.
It may be unprecedented, but it's not against the law.
Oh, this game.
Mr. Cuthbert, I loathe you with extreme intensity right now.
I just want to bring up, I love that, like, even Ace Attorney, like, didn't go, like, as this is bonkers as this one.
Yep.
This time you've really lost it.
In Ace Attorney, it's like, yeah, this is something that that could happen in the setting. Here, it's like, Okay, so
Phoenix?
Beatrice is not guilty.
Why
Anybody
is there a
object?
parrot on the stand? I mean, hey, at least in this scenario, we're working with magic that means the animal can actually talk.
Yes. Your
Don't forget
Honor,
the L6.
you cannot be serious right now. Are you actually going along with this?
Oh, Miss Tamura, I am looking for any possible reason not to entertain this. But Mr. Cuthbert has a point. There are no laws against his proposal. So I have no choice but to oblige his frankly insane actions for now.
I'm sorry.
Tamara's having a bit of a giggle fit in the background, just like, oh, this is gonna be a train wreck.
Mr. Cuthbert, I swear to the Scaled Lord that I'm going to throw my gavel at you one of these days.
I guess it doesn't matter.
I wish Steelwood could have been here.
It's not like as if this will reveal anything.
Oh, I can't believe I'm saying this, but
Orem in the background, just giving Steelwind the press or the debrief. He did what?
My
Just
expectations were low, but really, Cuthbert? This?
I'm frickin' Nightgrave just like, so he's calling an orangutan to the stand.
Monkey.
I don't know what I was expecting. That wasn't it.
And then Steelwind just dies.
I'm wondering what Steelwood's dad is thinking right now. Like, this is the person my daughter put in her place. What?
Did you say this line, Vin?
Yes.
Okay.
bailiff, please escort Lord Haroldson's monkey to the stand.
These guys are playing it just as as- and of course the music is with this. Please state your name and occupation to the cards.
I could do without the sarcasm, Miss Tamora.
It's more giggling than anything.
Oh my god.
Eugene is Eugene! Eugene Monk!
Monkey!
Bailiff, make sure the stenographer
Stenographer.
gets Haroldson's translations.
Ugh. You can't see the armbands on him right now. He must be at his normal intelligence now. Although, how would he even wear them? Perhaps he held them in his hands? They only require physical contact, after all. Eugene, did you steal from the gallery on the night of the murder?
Curb.
Oh, there we go.
Oh!
All of that.
Oh, did Discord cut out?
Maybe it's fine. I don't know.
Oh!
Yeah.
Hold up.
No.
Oh. What is going on with the internet? Hold up. Hold up.
Sushi.
Okay, hang on.
Sushi.
We good? We good?
Yeah, I think that was just Discord, because I didn't drop any frames on stream. I have no idea what was going on there. Anyways.
You may never steal from Harold! Eugene, respect Harold!
Then you'll have no problem testifying about where you went during the Lord's Ball.
I can't believe I let you convince me to permit this.
Oh no.
I'm freaking
Eugene,
dying.
explore house! Eugene, look for new place to play! Eugene, also look for spiders! Spiders, yum yum! You think Eugene steal armbands of intellect? Eugene never steal from Harold. Harold friend. Eugene always Harold's friend. Keep strong together.
Apes strong together.
Wow.
Apes together strong.
You did it, Cuthbert! You blew the case wide open!
Ugh.
Is this really going to help us? Could you stop laughing over there?
No!
Look, you'll just have to trust me on this.
I trust you.
That sentence sounded like it turned into a question at the end. Interpret? Oh, what?
Oh.
That's new.
What?
What? Wait, go back.
You might not have knowingly done it, but perhaps you took one of the artifacts by accident.
Eugene never do that.
Then how do you explain your brief contact with the Sword of Spell Eating? Harold couldn't have telepathically contacted you unless one of you was wielding it.
You need a question.
Right? He won't understand how the sword works without his heightened intelligence. Unless...
Go back a couple.
I wasn't accusing you of anything, Eugene. Perhaps you accidentally unlocked a case and took them thinking they were some kind of toy. This could all be an honest mistake.
Eugene not dum-dum. Eugene know how important artifacts are to Harold. Eugene never take from him.
I love the idea of, like, Eugene, not dum-dum.
You consider yourself close to Harold.
I would guess so. They literally have a magical connection with each other.
Right, I suppose the bond between a mage and his familiar would require a lot of trust.
Harold saved Eugene from Batman years ago. Eugene would never betray.
So you're a rescue.
Batman locked Eugene in cage. He'd tell people to throw peanuts at Eugene. Harold take Eugene away from that person. Lock up, Batman.
He seems to genuinely care for Harold. Could that be why he did this? He clearly feels indebted to him. That might have been his motive. Sigh.
Tyrion?
I know it looks bad, but I swear there's more to this than meets the eye.
If you say so.
There has to be something in his statements. He had to have been wearing the armbands on the night of the murder. Which thoughts reveal that? Think about how Tracker spoke. Is there anything different in the way Eugene is speaking right now?
He mentioned armbands of intellect immediately.
Yeah. Wait a minute. Eugene, I asked you before if you stole anything from Harold's gallery.
Eugene, no! Eugene would never steal from Harold!
Cuthbert, don't waste our time by having him repeat that statement.
That's the thing, Miss Tamara. That's not the same statement he made in his testimony. I asked the witness if he stole an artifact from the gallery. I never mentioned the armbands of intellect.
What are you talking about now? The witness lacks an understanding to differentiate between the artifacts. It was clearly just a simple mistake.
It's not just the fact that he named the wrong artifact, Miss Tamara. It's the fact that he used its actual name.
I'm afraid I don't understand what you mean, Mr. Cuthbert.
Your Honor, animals can't speak the same way that humans do. Even when a telepathic link is established, their vocabulary is extremely limited.
Right. Tracker called the sort of spell eating a stick before. It was hard to understand what he really meant.
Exactly. So that raises the question, How did Eugene know they were called the Armbands of Intellect? Wait, how did he know? The armbands were stolen during the Lord's Ball and replaced with a well-made replica. If he had worn the armbands when sneaking through the vents, he would have never had the opportunity to put them back. And the armbands are still missing. Eugene is wearing them.
Is wearing
Yeah.
the
It's wearing the
armband
murder
At this moment, it can't be. Is he really? The armbands were designed to be worn by humans, so Eugene wouldn't wear them on his arms. So where would he wear them? You initially thought that he carried them in his hands, but there's a far simpler explanation. They're under his hat! Eugene, do you still maintain that you didn't steal the armbands of intellect?
Eugene told you already. Eugene never steal from Harold.
Then I suppose you wouldn't mind taking off your hat.
Are you serious right now? You don't think he's wearing them right now, do you?
It's the only thing that makes sense. The armbands were taken on the night of the murder, and they are still missing. If Eugene did indeed steal the armbands that night, he would have never had the opportunity to return them. He had no choice but to continue wearing them until the investigation was over.
This is absolutely ridiculous. You're spinning a fairy tale. Do you honestly expect us to believe that a monkey increased its intellect beyond human limits?
If I'm wrong, the witness can easily refute my theory by removing his hat. Well, what's it gonna be, Eugene? You see him fully break character, and he slowly but silently lifts his hat.
No, you can't be serious.
Everyone can see it plainly. He's wearing the armbands like a crown above his tiny head. Out from his hat, you see him pull something else. Alright.
Alright.
Mr. Cuthbert, I shouldn't have underestimated you.
You!
Serious.
Probably a blessing in disguise. I don't think I could bear debasing myself any longer.
Oh god, it's just literally Patrick when he had his brain replaced with the brain coral.
Your Honor.
On what grounds, Miss Tamora?
On what grounds? Everything about the situation is objectionable. It's downright absurd. Is he seriously Beatrice's accomplice?
But Miss Tamora, we can't deny what's clearly in front of us.
I am not ready for today.
How is he even talking right now?
Scholars believe that humans and apes evolved from a common ancestor. Perhaps all apes can speak the common language under the right circumstances.
Evolved? Please, I've observed your society. I think calling humanity evolved is being quite generous.
Oh. I'm dying.
Man, I think the courtroom just felt a bit hotter from that burn.
So, who's the creator of this game again? Forget any criticisms I've had from the game. This is perfection.
Let's see here. It was Diamond Henge Entertainment.
Diamond Henge. Mwah. Perfection. 12 out of 10.
It's amazing.
This can't be happening.
Well, are you all done gawking at me like a bunch of simpletons?
Simpletons? Wait a minute.
It's quite difficult to separate myths from actual historical accounts.
Right, I remember encountering a similar problem at the Imperial Academy.
Ah, you must be quite dedicated to your studies.
Oh, it was from the monkey!
Oh, his eye wasn't reacting to
Haroldson.
Harold.
Every insulting thought that you've seen from Harold, they weren't Harold's thoughts at all. They were Eugene's thoughts. He'd been wearing the armband since you first met. But I still don't understand. Why would you even take the armbands in the first place?
I admit that the Lord's ball was one of many occasions. The first time I touched them was due to sheer chance.
You put them on by accident.
My unawakened self was enamored by its glittering sheen. I merely wanted to touch them, but when I first held them in my hands, I experienced a sense of clarity that I never felt before. I was afraid of what I had experienced, so I left them alone. But as I returned to my primitive lifestyle, I couldn't stop thinking about what I felt that day.
You were hooked.
I wouldn't quite phrase it like that, but I suppose you're not wrong. I already knew the password to Hell's Vault, so I come in from time to time and indulge in the armband's power. But the more time I spent with my awakened intellect, the more I craved its power when I had to put them away.
And that's when you made the replica.
While no one was watching, I devised a plan to discreetly take the armbands. Harold would have eventually discovered that they were stolen, but he would have concluded that a noble from the Lord's Ball took them.
Because of the pressure that he was receiving from the crown.
I'm not proud of what I've done, but I never expected things to reach this point. By the way, I know magic.
You're also 20 years old.
Spell eating as well. And I certainly didn't expect a murder to happen that night.
His arcane artist transmutation!
So you still maintain that you're innocent.
Of course I do. I stole the armbands, but I did not murder William Frager. Nor did I take the sword of spell eating. Allow me to elaborate.
Oh lord, why are we doing this? Scaled Lord, please save
I'll
us.
admit that I took the armbands and replaced them with a replica. But I was not the crook who stole the sword of spell eating. The thefts were completely different from one another. The display case for the sword was completely shattered. I spotted the sword when I was exploring the manor. It was lying in the middle of a hallway. I wondered why such an important artifact would be lying there, so I took a closer look to inspect it. That's when I heard Harold call out to me telepathically. The sword must have protected me and Harold from the anti-magic field. I wanted to take the sword and return it, but a wild dog chased me away from the scene.
He has a point. He didn't need to shatter the display case of the sword.
Yeah, he already knew the passwords. But Tracker said that Eugene was the one who dropped the sword. Furthermore, he escaped into the air vent that led into William's study. His actions that night were definitely not as innocent as his testimony implies. He must have lied somewhere.
I think I know where.
Oh, you want to just go for it?
Next. 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 So...
Did Tracker bark at the rat that dropped the sword?
Yes. Yeah, no, that's in Tracker's testimony.
Then go back to 3.
On the night of the murder, Tracker smelled something strange and followed the scent to the hallway north of Beatrice's bedroom. There he saw a flying rat come out of the northern air vent. Yeah.
Go back to 3 then.
Yeah, I think that's probably correct. Yep. Eugene, I'm sure you're well aware of this, but the best way to lie is to hide a false detail within many truths.
And what are you trying to insinuate, Mr. Cuthbert?
You said that you were heading from the terrace to the gallery. Did you take any detours?
Of course not. With the armbands nullified, my intelligence was slowly fading. I want to return to Harold as soon as possible.
Witness, I'd like you to take a look at the floor map of Frega Manor. This is the location where that wild dog found the Sword of Spell Eating. So tell me, Eugene, how did you spot the Sword of Spell Eating when it was hidden in a hallway north of Beatrice's room?
Why are you nitpicking such an insignificant statement? Probably just got distracted and went down the wrong hallway.
Miss Tamora, Eugene came from the rooftop garden, and he was adamant that he went directly to the gallery to reunite with Harold. Even if his intellect was muddled, he was intent on returning with his worried companion. He definitely took the direct route, but if he did, he never would have been able to see into that hallway.
I see your point, Mr. Cuthbert, but what does this mean?
It means that the witness lied about where he was before he discovered the Sword of Spell Eating. He wasn't coming from the rooftop garden. He came from air vents in that specific hallway. So why were you in that hallway, Eugene? You lied in your testimony. Was it because you wanted to hide what you were really doing that night? Admit it, Eugene. You snuck through the air vents to avoid detection. Then you used the air vent in the hallway to break into William's study. After that, you murdered him using the letter opener, didn't you?
Not what I was doing there to do. No, I didn't mean...
Order! Order in the court! Witness, is this true? Did you break into William Frega's study during the lockdown?
Yes, I did enter his study, but not for the reason you think. William Frega was already dead when I got there.
What?
What did you just say?
It's true!
Do you honestly expect us to believe a story like that? How could someone else have killed the victim before you got there? Tracker took the Sword of Spell Eating, and you were the only intelligent creature that could walk through the air vents.
I understand how unbelievable and suspicious it sounds! Why in the first place?
Almost everyone, you say. Almost everyone, you say. Hey, guys, how would you like Arcane Construct the Third?
Esquire.
I can't keep getting away with this.
I don't actually think it's an Arcane Construct, but...
I'm just gonna absolutely demolish the Arcane Construct business before it can even properly start.
God damn it, Lord Von Sanctus.
Oh wait, no, almost everyone, LaFay. He spoke to LaFay, that's right. He's specifically...
But it's the truth, Mr. Cuthbert. You have to leave me.
You don't see any contradicting thoughts through the eye, but that hardly absolves him from guilt. But could he really be telling the truth? If that's true, it only brings you back to the one question you've been asking since all this began. Who really did this? Okay, Eugene, let's assume you're telling the truth.
You surely believe me.
Let's not get ahead of ourselves. You're still my only suspect for this. But I know better than anyone about jumping to conclusions. So I'll give you the benefit of the doubt for now.
See.
However, if you want to absolve yourself, I need you to tell me about what you really saw that night. There might be something, anything, that might point to who really did this.
Very well. I'll tell you what I saw. Although I doubt you believe me.
Bitch, come on now.
You've already made a monkey out of my court. Nothing's out of the
Monkey
now.
business, the lot of it.
I discreetly made my way to that hallway through another air vent I exited the air vent in that hallway and tried to leap to the other side. I'm not sure if it was my weighing intelligence or my desperation, but I collided with something I didn't see.
Oh, did you now?
I fell to the ground and found the sword of spell eating laying next to me. I went to retrieve the sword, but that wild dog forced me to retreat. After that, I continued to make my way to the study.
There is another familiar.
And that's when I found William Frege, dead on the floor and lying in a pool of blood. And as if I was blessed by the Scaled Lord himself, I found the will that he was drafting. So, I destroyed it.
Frankly, Mr. Haroldson, I find that story very difficult to believe.
So as much, but you know what they say. Truth is stranger than fiction.
We are talking to a monkey smoking from a pipe. Isn't it more likely that you murdered the victim? You're clearly trying to cover up what you did by saying he was already dead.
Honestly, I really don't know what to think.
Is he really telling the truth? I thought monkeys were extremely dexterous. Are you just clumsy?
I have impeccable dexterity!
Sounds like you struck a nerve there.
I must have been muddled from losing the arm match magic.
No, come on now. How did you know it was the sword of spell eating?
When I held it in my hands, I felt my intelligence return. But I also heard Harold calling out to me telepathically. He was clearly growing worried, and I knew I needed to move quickly.
Did this wild dog have a white coat of fur?
He did. Are you acquainted with him?
Something like that.
When next time you meet him, tell him that I don't appreciate being called a rat. I am a proud orangutan.
You can understand him.
I've implemented a canine language throughout my life. I'm also fluent in squirrel and pigeon. I also can speak owl, but I admit it's barely conversational.
As much as you want to test the validity of those claims, you're not relevant. They're not relevant.
He's just literally that character that chose all the joke languages.
Yeah.
I chose Sphinx, thank you very much, in Thailand.
I speak very fluent, Blink Dog.
That's Pana. That's Pana right there. Like, I'm not kidding, by the way.
Yeah.
I'm just saying fucking and going full Starline.
I thought you were already doing Starline.
Not yet.
What happened when you entered the study? It seems awfully convenient that he was murdered before you arrived.
I know how it may seem, but I'm telling you the truth.
And do you have any explanation for how the assailant broke into the study without the sword?
I unfortunately do not.
Please, it's obvious your testimony doesn't match up with the evidence. Whoever did this either entered through the vents, or they used the sword to nullify the lock.
Enter through the vent. Enter through the vent. Vented.
And your own testimony
venting.
states that the sword was abandoned in that hallway.
It doesn't match up with what you thought happened, but does it really contradict the evidence you have? Anyway, what did you do when you discovered the body?
I knew it was only a matter of time before someone discovered the body. So I quickly searched the room for something I could use.
So you were the one who took the will. I've been trying to find it. What did it say?
I was pressed for time, so I didn't read the entire document. But I found an order to his executor to defund the Haraldson Hall of History. Since he went out of his way to specify that on the current copy, I concluded that this former will didn't have this addendum.
So you could save Harold's museum by making sure it never got submitted for probate. Anyways, do you have the will with you?
My apologies. I crumpled up the will into a ball and ate it. I then left the room before my intelligence was completely gone.
Ugh. You were really hoping to see if William followed through on his threat to disinherit Beatrice.
He seems to be telling the truth this time.
I agree, but we still need to be sure. Carefully inspect and press everything. Yep. I think this is the only one I haven't. But why were you there in the first place?
It began when William Frege got into an argument with Harold. That cur wanted to defund the prestigious Haraldson Hall of History! I know a man like William probably had many secrets. So I devised a plan to break through his study and find something that I could use to blackmail him. As you know, there's a small air vent in the hallway, and it connected to William's study on the ground floor. I wasn't aware that William was planning to stay in his study all night. So I thought I could look through his documents without anyone seeing me.
You suppose that does make sense, but is he really telling the truth?
What happened when you tried to leap to the other Avant, Eugene?
It's hard to believe, but you can't see any direct contradictions. Should you press him more? But what if he's telling the truth? If Eugene did do this, your next course of action is clear. Although that still wouldn't explain how Beatrice fits into this. You recall something Tracker said to you. Tracker, you said you had to smell to see where the rat was? And when he dropped his stick, you were finally able to see him. Does that mean you couldn't visually see him before he fell down?
This was you, Eddie.
Yeah. Tracker couldn't see the rat with his eyes, so Tracker used his nose to see it.
Eugene was invisible!
Mm-hmm. Eugene, when you were carrying out your plan, did you turn yourself invisible somehow?
No? I hardly had the means to. And even if I somehow convinced Harold to cast a spell on me, he doesn't know how to cast invisibility. Very few mages do.
Right, you recall Eris saying the same thing during the Nightgrave trials. Only a master of illusion magic could do that. That's how you first thought Beatrice was involved. But if Eugene is truly innocent, did she turn someone else invisible? But if that's true, you're right back to where you started again! No. Think this through. Eugene's testimony fills in the blank that's been missing. And what happens when you cross-reference that with Tracker's testimony? So where does that lead us? The thief, I think. I think it's just the thief, right? Yeah.
Yep.
The thief dropped the sword in that hallway. But how does that make sense? They hide the sword there like you originally thought? No. That hallway was close to the gallery. There were plenty of better places to hide the sword. If it weren't for Tracker taking it, it would have been found even sooner. The thief must have accidentally dropped the sword there. This can only mean one thing. Why was the thief in that hallway? The thief was breaking... was sneaking out of William's study, I think, right?
That or was through the air vents.
That would make sense. Yeah, there we go. The thief was also sneaking through the air vents. That's the only reason why they would have been there. That would imply that the thief was as small as Eugene. Could it have been another familiar? And if so, why didn't Eugene notice them? Wait. He collided with something he didn't see? In other words, it was something that wasn't visible to him. As a master of illusion magic, Beatrice is one of the few people at the ball that could cast invisibility. Probably should have went through that, but whatever. Have you been approaching this situation incorrectly this entire time? Through the eye, you knew that Beatrice was involved somehow, but you just assumed that she was one part of a larger plot. Breaking the glass and the casting of invisibility. These were the elements that you knew she was involved with. But never really fit together. Not unless she was the one pulling the strings the entire time. And there's only one way she could be in control the entire time. A couple of memories flood in your mind.
A familiar is a creature that a mage has formed a magical contract with. With that contract, our souls are bonded. I can speak with him telepathically. I could even see through his eyes and cast my spells through him if I wanted to.
Really? I never knew a spell like that existed.
Well, it's quite rare. Very few mages take the time to learn how to cast it.
Hi, I'm Tyrion Cuthbert. I'm Miss Tamora's ward. You extend out your hand to shake hers. She has an aristocratic air to her, so you hope you're not being too formal. Instead of taking your hand, she claps her hands together and takes a deep breath. What?
Sorry, I didn't mean to do that. It's a bit of a habit of mine.
Oh. Nevertheless, she finally shakes your hand.
I've heard so much about you, Mr. Cuthbert. My name is Beatrice.
Hold up, I need to check something. Okay, no, yeah.
No,
Invisibility is the clap
invisibility
one, I
is
think.
clapping.
No, that's not what I was checking. It's fine. Don't worry about it. You didn't know she was blind back then. You barely even noticed it. How did she know that you were holding out your hand?
Do you have any other questions for me?
If you're wrong about this, Beatrice will surely be acquitted. After that, the Inquisition will turn their attention to Harold and Eugene. There's only one way to know for sure. Your Honor, the prosecution has no further questions for the current witness. He is dismissed.
What?
I see.
You have something else planned, don't you?
Yeah, and I actually need your help.
Really?
You tell her about your plan.
Really? I feel like you're making some big assumptions there.
Wouldn't the Inquisition check for something like that?
I know. It's the best play we have. Do you remember what Steelwind said yesterday?
But the moment gods saw the body, one of them cast Detect Magic. With that spell, they would have seen any invisible people hiding in this room.
Wait, you can use Detect Magic like that?
Of course. It's standard procedure. Like all spells, invisibility leaves traces of magic on the person it's cast on. Some mages can use Detect Magic as a way to see through invisibility.
If everything goes the way I think it will, you'll be able to confirm its location. Once you do that, you just need to reveal it to everyone.
Quick question. Would you be able to, or would you allow this in an actual 5e game, or would you say no,
No.
see invisibility?
No.
If I remember the specific phrasing of detect magic, I think it has to be an object you can see, but I might be wrong on that.
Let me actually look it up.
Yeah. Anyways, Sai.
Well, all right. I'll follow your lead then.
So, Mr.
Hold on.
Cuthbert, how do we proceed?
If you sense magic in this way, you can use your action to see a faint aura around any visible creature or object in the area that bears magic.
Visible.
It has to be visible.
Yeah.
Yep.
Your previous witness brought about more revelations than I could have ever guessed. However, you still haven't given a substantial explanation about how the murder occurred or who actually did it.
I understand that, Your Honor, but it will all make sense after I call my next witness.
Another witness?
I understand your hesitance, but, Your Honor, everything that we've learned through these trials is finally coming together, and this final witness will tie it all together in a perfect knot. Your Honor, the prosecution calls Beatrice Frege to the stand.
Seriously, Cuthbert? You went through all that trouble just to end up calling my client to the stand?
You and your client have the right to refuse, Miss Tamora, but I wonder how that will reflect on your client's character. It doesn't really matter. She's already standing there with Miss Tamora. You can carry out your plan regardless of what she decides to do, but it will have much more impact if you can bait her into lying on the stand.
My client says she's willing to testify. However, we would like to propose a short recess. With these new developments, I'm sure you can understand we have much to discuss.
I see no reason not to grant the defense's request.
Is this really okay? If we give them time to prep, they might realize what we're doing.
I know, but I don't think we have anything to worry about. You've been building a psychological profile of Beatrice ever since this case began. I don't think we... It's hard to read her expressions, and even with the Eye of Horus, she keeps herself guarded and keeps her true intentions unknown. She is powerful, more powerful than her father even cared to admit. Despite this, he tried to control her and put her inside a cage. But Beatrice Frege would never live in a cage. She wanted freedom and control, and she would do whatever it took to get it. You're sure about the accident that blinded her didn't help things. When everything was said and done, she abandoned everything. Her wealth, her status, her family. She could have waited. She could have gritted her teeth until it was her turn to lead House Frege. If she was willing, she could have even secretly pushed her father past the gates of death herself. But she couldn't bear to live like that, even temporarily. You have no idea why this is how she chose to do that, but perhaps it had something to do with their meeting. But you do know one thing. Beatrice Frege will never put herself in a position of vulnerability. If you endanger her freedom, she will make sure that she can see who she's up against.
In the interest of giving the defense time to deliberate, we will be taking an extended recess. Court is adjourned. Bailiff! Get me a drink!
As you are exiting the courtroom, you see Celeste do some reconnaissance.
The straight vodka, sir?
No, I think we're going right to the Everclear.
As you wish.
It should be similar to when she scanned Valentina during the Nightgrave trial.
There again.
Celeste, what were you able to see?
Yeah, it's definitely there. And it sits on her shoulder most of the time.
So she keeps it close to her. That's good to know.
It looks kind of weird, though. But I've never used detect magic like this before.
Well, you doubt that someone like her would choose a conventional animal, especially for something like this.
Turns out it is an octopus.
That would be hilarious, and I would love that.
Cuthbert?
Miss Tamora.
There's something I need to show you. Preferably alone.
Celeste gives you a concerned look, but you nod to show her it's okay. She moves to sit on the bench where she can keep an eye on Beatrice. Okay, lead the way.
We're about to get stabbed.
We're about to die.
Miss Tamora leads you out of the courthouse and into the city. Every time you ask her where she's taking you, she avoids answering your question.
All right, we're here.
You arrive at an empty alley in the frankly seedier part of the city. As Miss Tamora approaches one of the derelict buildings, she's met with a large burly man who is guarding the back door. The man silently acknowledges her and steps aside to let her in. Miss Tamora, where are we going?
I'm sorry about this. Sure you're confused. But please trust me. I'll explain everything.
Before you have a chance to ask for more information, she moves into the building. The man guarding the door looks at you expectantly. The entire situation doesn't sit right with you, but you still continue to follow her. Despite your recent disagreements, you know that you can trust her.
Until you can't.
As you head further into the building, you find yourself in a surprisingly well-lit, well-furnished room. From how it looked outside, you would have never guessed that it would look like this. It almost looks like a room you'd encounter in Frega Manor. As you enter the room, you spot several mercenaries standing at several points in the room. And most surprisingly, you see Eris standing at the end of the room. You give her a confused look, but she simply smiles and waves at you.
Hey, bestie.
Sitting at
Oh,
the
no.
desk next to her, you see a man with an eye patch. It looks like he's been expecting you.
This was me, right?
If you want him, yeah, go for it.
I'm just trying to. Yeah, I think it was me. Ah, Tamora.
Upon seeing you two, he cordially welcomes Miss Tamora before turning his attention to you.
And you must be Tyrion. Tamora has told me a lot about you.
I see, but who are you?
I've been called many names over these years, but my favorite has always been the Eye Taker.
Eye Taker, occupation, boss. The Eye Taker.
From the sounds of it, you've already heard of me.
Miss Tamora, what is this?
My daughter Eris has told me all about your work prosecuting this case.
She's his daughter?
But I have to say, I'm quite impressed. Getting a monkey to testify? I don't think I could even pull off a grift like that. You've pretty much blown past my expectations.
Get to the point. As soon as you interrupt him, you feel every person in the room tense up. You don't even need the eye to know your interruption put them on edge.
Relax, everyone. Kids will be kids. I'm a father myself, you know?
Kids will be kids. Eris in the background, speaking Latin backwards.
I like Eris in the background.
Speaking of Eris,
Just like, she loves me not, but instead of like using a flower, it's the limbs of a doll.
Anyways, I'll get straight to the point. I have a certain interest in the outcome of his trial.
What are you talking about?
Little Lady Frega has been a client of ours for a long time. I've done quite a lot of favors for her, and the time has finally come for me to collect.
Those debts that Steelwind mentions.
They all belong to me. But there's no need to worry. I know she's good for it. That is, if she can inherit House Frega.
What?
Tamora's a good attorney, even without my help. If she's convicted, we could easily reduce her sentence by rubbing the right hands. But you see, there's that pesky Slayer rule. The thing is, Cuthbert, I need Beatrice Frege to be acquitted in the current trial.
That's what this is about? House Frega's gold? That's why you helped her murder William Frege?
Please, my goals aren't nearly so short-sighted. I have big plans, not just for Beatrice, but for this entire kingdom. And I need House Frege for that.
Just like you needed Justin Way.
Tyrion.
Ah, Justin. It's really a shame what happened to him.
Don't act so innocent. He never would have tried to rob Dracogen if you didn't threaten him.
Is that so? Do you think I just randomly showed up on his doorstep one day demanding gold? He was the one who came to me for help. I just told him to pay back what he owed. If he hadn't come to me, it would have been some other criminal. But that's beside the point. Enough about what I wanted from Justin. Let's talk about what I want from you.
But
You
enough
want
about
me
me.
to throw
Let's
the
kill
case.
you.
Oh, I love this kid. I don't have to beat around the bush with this one. No one will doubt you, especially considering the amount of work you put into this already. You don't need to do anything. Just take a dive.
And let someone else take the fall. No matter what happens, the court will blame someone for this.
If it makes you feel better, I can assign Tamora to defend the old man and his monkey.
Drop my
That
controller.
way, everyone can come out of this unharmed. Everyone wins.
Except for the fact that a murderer will be put in charge of House Frege.
Please, as if that's any worse than the people in charge of the other noble houses.
To play devil's
I mean-
advocate, Lucio Steelwind does go around with a great axe attacking random people.
Say what
That
you
walking
will,
with
the
pain.
dude has a fucking point.
If you recall, there's already a murderer in charge of House Von Sanctus.
Excuse me, you upstart.
Quiet in the peanut gallery. They're all dirty. You've seen it, haven't you? They rig the system. They pay, threaten, or even kill people to get their way. All we're doing is leveling the playing field.
Tyrion, please, just listen to him.
How can you just go along with this?
I told you a long time ago that there were certain parts of my job I couldn't tell you about. Well, this is it. This is what we need to do to beat them.
Those rumors about you, they're all true, aren't they? Forgery, bribery, blackmail. You're guilty of each and every one of them. And you used him to do it? Also, you could keep winning? You blackmailed Miriam, Miss Tamora.
Oh, as if we should show pity. Any pity for that spoiled princess.
A dreadful thought just entered your mind. Steelwind, she was attacked the day that Beatrice was arrested. Was that...
I didn't know that's what they were planning.
Despite my confidence in Tamora's skills, I'm afraid there was too much riding on this to leave to chance. You've got to make your own luck if you want to beat the system.
How could you? She almost died!
We never expected her to strain her injuries like that. And we definitely didn't expect you to take her place. So believe me when I say that I'm being uncharacteristically reasonable right now.
How? How could you even consider working with someone like him?
Don't you think it's a little arrogant to judge her, Cuthbert?
What?
You talk about defending people as if you two are even close to being equals. But she doesn't have the luxury of looking into people's minds now, does she?
You told him about the Eye of Horus?
I...
The future of magic is changing, kid. Like I said before, I have big plans for this kingdom. And I also have big plans for you.
Do you think I would ever...
Tyrion, stop! To be honest, I hate it as much as you do. Whether you like it or not, we need their help.
But this is...
Think about every client you defended. Think of Celeste. If you didn't have the Eye of Horus, what would have happened to her? If even one thing went differently, Pierce would have gotten away and Celeste would have been executed. You've taken chances and followed your instincts, and that's worked for you so far. But what if it's not enough? What if the system is too corrupt for you to fight against next time? With the Eye Taker's help, you'll never have to worry about that again. If I had accepted his help sooner, I could have saved your mother.
God fucking damn it.
So, what's it gonna be, kid? You already know about what happened to that Steelwind brat. So I don't need to tell you what'll happen if you don't play ball.
Wait.
No.
What?
Maybe you're right. Maybe I can't always win against the nobility unless I play dirty like they do. But this is wrong!
Tyrion?
I'm not going to compromise my principles. Not even for you, Miss Tamora.
I'm sorry to hear you say that, kid. I really am.
With one motion of his hand, every mercenary in the room draws their weapons.
Please, you don't have to do this.
Whatever conviction you had before is slowly fading. You should have never entered this place. You knew something was off. There are about a dozen mercenaries here, and there's even more guarding the way out. You're nowhere near as physically strong as Celeste, but maybe you can make a break for it if you get lucky.
No.
Yeah, Celeste!
What the? How did you get in here? My whole job is keeping this guy safe. Do you honestly think I'd just let you take him to an undisclosed location? It doesn't matter. As if one girl will make a difference. Well, what are you all waiting for?
Is that really her? Upon seeing Celeste, the mercenaries cautiously step back. No one wants to make the first move.
This monstrous aura. It has to be her.
What the hell are you doing? You have her surrounded!
Despite his command, no one takes a step forward.
Look, let's all just sit down and talk about this rationally.
What's the different approaches warranted here, Father?
What?
I have the opportunity to speak with Mr. Cuthbert. I believe I can make him see things our way.
I'm sorry, sweetie, but I can't.
Mm,
Well, you've never been wrong before.
mm,
I'll lean to you, love.
don't like that.
Shall we go, you two?
Celeste silently watches Eris with her sword drawn, but unlike the mercenaries, Eris seems unmoved. She merely walks past her and out the exit. You and Celeste exchange glances and follow after her.
I'm waiting for like a fight scene to show up in this game. Like actual fight scene of just like someone erasing memories and Celeste just being a badass.
I need water for that one. Holy crap.
Don't like it.
That was close. I don't think I could have fought that whole room while protecting you.
Does that mean she could have fought them if she were alone?
You two are really courageous to a fault, aren't you?
Eris, I appreciate you vouching for us, but I'm not changing my mind about this.
Oh, I'm well aware of that. Why do you think I intervened?
Well, thank you.
Is this really okay? Won't your dad be mad?
I should be asking Tyrion that same question. You've seen your adopted mother's true colors and corrected them. How are the two of you going to move forward?
She's not my...
Isn't she, though? She lost any right to deny it the moment she took it upon herself to raise you.
She only did that because I asked her to. It wasn't her choice.
Oh, but it was. How old were you when your real mother was executed? 10 years old?
Miss.
Back then, you barely knew Tamora. It would be a stretch to even call her a family friend. She was the adult in that situation, and what did she do? She fed your anger and hatred for the nobility instead of allowing you to process grief healthily. Tamora took you away from your only friends and isolated you from society. She even homeschooled you, didn't she?
That's...
As a result, you never formed any other relationships. You made your first close friend at the age of 20, and she was your client. It's a bit sad. She isolated you because she wanted to use you.
That's not true. That's not why she...
From what I've seen today, you clearly have no idea who Tamora is. Even with the Eye of Horus, you're clearly a terrible judge of character.
Aris, you're going way too far.
Save you from more heartache, let me give you one last piece of advice.
Eris leans in really close to you and begins to whisper in your ear.
Do you honestly think Celeste will ever love you?
What?
I'm going to punch her.
I'm sure you understand now. Tamora can only afford to pay her exorbitant salary because of my father. You've already burned that bridge. So where do you think the Crimson Demon will go when you can't afford her services anymore?
No, she's not...
With Linhart dead, she has to worry about her mother. Do you think she has the luxury of playing around with you for free? Or did you actually think that she enjoys spending time with you? Tyrion, you have to look at this rationally. Any support or affection that she's given you has only been to keep you as an employer.
You seem to know a lot about these things.
I had to do a lot of networking when I was a mercenary. I do know how many times. Do you know how many times I had to charm a merchant into hiring me?
Why are you doing this?
Because I'm just trying to keep you from getting hurt.
Trying to break me, huh?
It may seem cruel, but you have to be realistic about these things. You trusted Tamora, and she betrayed you. Try not to make the same mistake twice.
Celeste didn't hear
Fair.
anything she said, but she seems to notice how it's affecting you.
Aris, that's enough.
My apologies. I've been told that I've been too blunt sometimes. But I do hope you'll think about what I said. Anyway, the trial should be starting soon. We should make our way back to the courthouse. I'm genuinely curious to see how this trial ends.
Hey, Tyrion, are you okay? What did she say to you?
She reaches for your hand, but you instinctively yank it away from hers.
Tyrion?
Sorry, I didn't mean to. I'm okay, really.
Okay. Is he mad at me?
You can think about everything else later. But for now, you know what you need to do. You need to convict Beatrice Frege.
Court is now resumed for the trial of Beatrice Frege.
Is the defendant ready to take the stand? Tamora, I asked you a question. Is the defendant prepped or not?
She is, if the prosecution still wants to move forward with...
The prosecution will be moving forward with this. Please bring in the witness. Do you still see it, Celeste?
Yeah, it's still there. Should I reveal it now?
No, let's really make a point of it. Wait for my signal. Thank you for agreeing to take the stand, Miss Frege.
Mr. Cuthbert.
It's my understanding that you were with the two princes for most of the night.
Yes, I was. Which is why I'm still quite confused as to why I'm being charged for this crime. Out of everyone here that night, I thought my alibi was most solid.
That remains to be seen.
Clearly.
Anyway, since you still maintain your innocence, you'll have no problem prolonging... You'll have no problem going into detail about your supposed alibi.
As you know, I was with Crown Prince Aster and Prince Alaric for most of the ball. I went there at the meeting with my father, and I remained with them until I was arrested for his murder. Lord Steelwind and the King's Guard could watch over me for the entire night as well. I neither had the means nor the opportunity to steal the sword of spell eating and break into my father's study to murder him.
There it is. And that, Miss Frege, is where you're mistaken. You definitely had the means to commit both crimes while under the eye of everyone there that night. The most effective tool an attorney has is revealing a contradiction in a witness's testimony.
Oh no.
It's not
Oh,
only
no.
completely
Oh, no.
shatters
Oh,
your
no.
opponent's arguments,
Oh,
it also makes the
no.
court doubt whether the witness is acting in good faith. Usually, you've used this evidence to reveal contradictions like this. Now, Celeste.
Iberia!
Wait. What are you doing?
Oh!
Oh no!
Oh! Your Honor, the witness's testimony is clear.
Oh my god, what the hell is that thing?
Tyrion, get behind me!
A monster! It's a
It's
monster!
the judge!
Where's the judge?
He's hiding!
Nope! I've had enough monkey business for one day.
Nope, I'm out. Fuck this shit.
I'm getting too old for this shit.
Bailiff, I need... Bailiff, grab me the Eldermancy cocktail.
Someone call the
need
Inquisition,
some-
the King's Guard, anyone! Your Honor, can you please restore order? Your
Yeah,
Honor.
I told you!
Oh my god, who wants to?
He fled out the back door.
Yeah.
Doggy.
You can talk!
It's a demon, it must be!
It's just like the legends say.
Can we all just calm down? It takes a while before you can get everyone in the room to settle down. Eventually, it was clear that the demon wasn't intent on harming anyone. At least not yet. The court ordered extra guards just in case, and you're eventually able to bring everyone back into the courtroom.
Mr. Cuthbert, what is the meaning of this?
Sorry, I didn't know it was... Actually, what are you?
Are you a demon?
Why, yes. I am a demon.
Demons actually exist?
I thought they were only a legend.
Your Honor, not only do demons exist, the defendant has made one into her familiar. She's only blind in the literal sense. She's constantly looking through the eyes of her familiar to see.
And?
What do you mean, and? It's pretty obvious that making a pact with a demon is incriminating by itself.
Tell me, Your Honor, do the laws of Wavengard prohibit entering an accord with a demon?
Ruby, one of these days, I'm just gonna take the judge's gavel and I'm gonna smack you in the face with it. Your smugness is wearing thin.
They don't, but
Then my client has committed no crime.
No, I really would have preferred not revealing Maranath like that.
Maranath, is that your name?
It is what most people call me.
Maranath, demonic familiar.
I like how the only thing question mark on him is his age.
I suppose you have a point, Tamora. Having a demon as your familiar isn't technically illegal. However, this does prove that the defendant had a way to commit the murder, all while under the eye of everyone in the ballroom. She could have sent Maranath upstairs to the gallery and then had him steal the Sword of Spell Eating. After that, they would just need to traverse the vents into William's study just like Eugene did that night.
The fact that a familiar is a demon proves she couldn't have done that.
What do you mean?
You saw how everyone reacted when they saw Maranath's form. The monkey may have raised some eyebrows, but surely someone would have reported Maranath if they saw him.
Timora, your client is a master of illusion magic. Can I assume that we'll find invisibility in her spell compendium?
You might.
And with this connection, granted by familial bond, she could have cast the spell on him regardless of where each of them was.
I'll admit my client does know how to cast invisibility. But your theory raises another question. Could my client continue casting it unnoticed?
Continue casting it?
You'll understand once I go over the order of events that night. At an unknown time, someone stole the Sword of Spell Eating from the Heralds and Gallery. Due to the timing of this, I'll admit it would be logically consistent if my client was the thief. However, sometime later, my client met the Crown Prince and was watched closely by the King's Guard. From witness accounts, including yours, we know this happened at 12:45. And since this time, my client didn't leave the King Guard's sight. It was around this time that William Frege retreated into his study and locked the door. He made a point of telling everyone he didn't want to be disturbed. Then, at 1:03, Lord Haraldson finally discovered the sword was stolen, reported the theft to the King's Guard, and they activated the lockdown system. Shortly after, LaFay tried to speak with her father about the theft. William Frege reiterated he did not want to be disturbed. LaFay saw his face. There weren't any traces of illusion directly on his body. This means that William Frege was still alive at this time. Unbeknownst to everyone at the time, William Frege was attacked by the murderer at 3:12. This is confirmed not only by Jan Hughes' testimony, but also by the autopsy report. Then, at 3:26, the King's Guard found the sword in my client's old room. King's Guard tried to arrest my client for this, but the Crown Prince told them to stand down. Finally, at 3:36 a.m., the lockdown was lifted. Jan Hughes reported what he heard, and that's when the Inquisition and the King's Guard discovered the body. So it was like a 3-hour gap.
2 hours-ish, but yeah.
Yeah, 2 hours, sorry. The theft must have happened before 1:23, when it was actually reported. In order to keep Maranath concealed at every step, my client would have needed to keep him invisible from 1:03 a.m. to 3:12 a.m. Not only that, she needed Maranath wield the Sword of Spell Eating to ignore the effects of the anti-magic fields. This means he would need to be invisible for more than an hour.
What's your point?
My point is that invisibility has a duration of an hour. I'll admit my client could have cast invisibility before she met the Crown Prince, but if she wanted to keep Maranath invisible, she would have needed to recast the spell at some point that night, And, as you know, my client couldn't have done so during that night without the King's Guard noticing it.
Bitch, we've literally seen her do it multiple times. Fuck you.
Yup.
Your logic makes sense, but that can only mean that the defendant refreshed the invisibility right in front of everyone watching.
In front of the entire Kingsguard, the two princes, and Lucio Steelwind.
As unlikely as it is, it's the only conclusion I can come to.
I had a feeling you'd say that. Which is why we have a witness who can confirm Beatrice didn't perform any magic that night.
A witness?
Your Honor, the defense would like to call Prince Alaric to the stand.
I see. He would have certainly been close enough to notice the defendant casting magic. But wouldn't the Crown Prince's testimony be more suitable?
Are you trying to say Prince Alaric is unqualified to give proper testimony, Your Honor?
Well, of course he's saying that. The kid is 7 years old.
Look, bitch, do you know what kind of day it's been today? But fine. Is the prince ready to testify?
Grow a spine, for Lord's sake! Thank you for coming in, Prince Alaric. Could you please... I think this was Pokemon?
Hold your tongue, knave. You will speak when you are spoken to.
Oh, God. He sounds exactly like Miriam when we first met her.
I
Honestly.
tend to be a Steelwind.
He behaves exactly how you'd expect a prince of this rotten kingdom to act. Master's the odd one out in this situation. It makes you wonder what made him so down to earth.
Your Highness. Mr. Cuthbert believes that the defendant used her magic while she was with you and the Crown Prince.
I already gave my statement to the investigators. This man dares to question my testimony?
Yes, he said it. Not me.
Wow, the judge didn't even think twice about throwing you under.
Well, not under the bus. Under the carriage?
Under the wagon or whatever, yeah.
Under the ship.
But very well. If my testimony is required to strike down these redundant accusations, I will bestow it upon you.
Redundant? Don't you mean ridiculous?
Mr. Cuthbert, do not dare to suppose what His Highness really means.
His boots must be shining from all the licking you're doing.
What was that?
Nothing!
You think Lady Freyga cast magic right in front of me? Don't be a serf. Oh god. Miranda, hi, good to see you again. She was under the careful watch of the Kingsguard, my brother, and Lord Steelwind. We conversed the whole night, and I didn't see her cast any magic. She's been through so much in the last few years, all because of her horrid father. She'd never do something like this. You and Lady Steelwind are just jealous.
Oh my god, shut up.
Oh my god, shut up.
Oh my god, shut up. Me.
He seems really convinced that he didn't see anything. You doubt that he's intentionally lying.
What's with this sassy lost child?
Celeste, usually when you cast Detect Magic, I can see magical energies overlaying your eyes.
Yeah, there's always a visible magical effect on the target when I cast a spell.
But Maranath was probably in another room. The Kingsguard wouldn't see the initial magical effect of invisibility.
Even if there wasn't a visible effect in the room, she would have still needed to say the incantation and perform the gesture with her hands.
There is no incantation. Right, like how you shout Repario Arcanum every time you scan the crime scene.
I don't just shout it.
Anyway,
Yes,
she must
you
have done
do.
the incantation and gesture at some point during the night. Did she ever get an opportunity to conceal herself to do so? Alright, come on. We need to get to the point where she clapped. If I recall correctly, you and your brother were with her until she was arrested for the murder. What did you speak about?
Alright. One second. She told us stories about what she did while she was away. She was researching something. I forgot what she said. Something about the old cults?
Do you mean the occult?
Yeah, that's it. She was researching ghosts and demons.
Considering who her familiar is, her research must have paid off. Anyways, Your Highness, could you please add this to your testimony?
If I must.
You're clearly sympathetic to her situation, but you must have only been a toddler when she left 5 years ago.
Brother spoke for a lot. He told me all about her. I could tell from his face. He was really sad she ran away.
Even if it's not romantic, Esther clearly cares a lot about her. The prosecutor must have complicated feelings about that. Let's just check, just to make sure. Oh, there is one.
That's anti-magic
That's
field.
anti-
Nope, that's anti-magic. Excuse. Oh, occults.
Occult array.
Oh.
Hello.
Go back.
The occult RA.
She weaved it in.
Very clever. Very clever. To cast a spell, a mage needs to speak an incantation, but there's nothing that says you can't say anything before or after it. Your Highness, according to your testimony, the defendant told you that the occult are a fascinating phenomena. Is that exactly what she said, word for word?
Yeah, the stories she told us were quite interesting. They really struck a chord with me.
I see.
Struck a chord.
Yeah, I know. Well, even if they were interesting, your testimony proves that she did cast the invisibility spell that night.
Are you deaf? I already told you. No one heard her say any incantations, nor did they see her perform any gestures.
Unfortunately, your testimony proves the contrary. Beatrice Frege said an incantation and performed a gesture right in front of you, all without anyone even knowing it.
What?
Your Highness, there are two components required to cast invisibility. First, the caster must speak the incantation, Occult Array, and clap both of their hands together. I'm sure you noticed, the defendant has a habit of clapping both of her hands to calm herself. Now that I think about it, the habit must have come from constantly casting the spell. The defendant requires Marinath to see, so she must constantly cast invisibility to keep him invisible.
Cuthbert, you may have an explanation for how she hid the gesture. She would have still needed to speak the incantation.
However, she did speak the incantation. The witness's testimony proves it.
What are you talking about? I never said she spoke any incantation.
Your Highness, the incantation for invisibility is Occult Array. Now recall what you said in your testimony. She said, the Occult R.A. Fascinating phenomena. The pronunciation of that one phrase is identical to the incantation.
I see. So she hid the incantation in her conversation.
And because her target was a creature that was outside of the ballroom, nobody saw the magical effects. This means that Marinath had the means to murder William Frege just as Eugene did.
Having the means is completely different from actually having done it, Cuthbert.
Very few people had the ability to shatter the display case to steal the sword of spell eating. And even fewer people had a familiar small enough to traverse the vents.
Which also makes Haroldson's familiar an equally likely suspect. And unlike my client's familiar, he admitted to breaking into William's study that night.
If your client's familiar is truly innocent, then why not have him testify before the court?
Can
Oh
we,
boy, here we go again.
Cuthbert? Can we stop having the
I
familiar?
see. Well, it's not as if it's the first unprecedented witness we've had today. Is Marinath willing to testify, Miss Tamora.
You see Tamora deliberating with Beatrice and Marinath. You can't hear what they're saying, but they're definitely in disagreement with each other. Marinath in particular seems to be the most vocal about his displeasure.
Your Honor, unfortunately, Marinath is unwilling to testify.
Why the change of heart?
My client's familiar may be a demon, but he's afforded to the same rights as any other person. He's not obligated to testify.
You look at Marinath, and he's grinding his very sharp teeth together. For some reason, he appears to be looking at you with intense hatred. Why are they being so secretive all of a sudden anyways? A witness can refuse to testify to avoid incriminating themselves, but a refusal to testify is suspicious in and of itself. Tamara had no issues with Beatrice taking the stand earlier, so why would she change her tune when it comes to Marinath? And despite what she said, Marinath seems like he disagrees with their decision the most. Is it possible that he's the weakest link of the three of them? If so, he might be the key to implicating them.
And according to the legends, demons take great pride in their ability to deceive and corrupt people.
You wonder. I see. Marinath is well within his right to refuse, if that's what he truly wants.
It is.
Oh, I suppose it's for the best. I doubt he'd be able to corroborate your story at all. Marinath grinds his teeth together. Sounds like metal grinding on metal. Considering his diminutive figure, I don't blame him for being a coward.
But Mr. Cuthbert, could you please refrain from provoking the literal demon?
Oh, it's fine, Your Honor. He can't do anything without his master's word. And between him and the defendant, it's clear that Beatrice is the brains of the operation.
You shut your filthy celestial mouth.
There it is again.
Celestial.
Mm-hmm.
Marinath, what are you doing?
I will not stand here and be insulted by a bloody Heavensborn.
Heavensborn.
I am still within my contract, and I will not flee from the likes of him. You want my testimony? I'll give you my goddamn testimony.
Your Honor, my client does not consent to having the familiar testify.
Tamora, didn't you say earlier that Marinath is afforded the same rights as any other person? He has a right to refuse to testify, but only he can decide if he wants to exercise it. And he's clearly intent on giving it. So, Marinath, why don't you testify about what you were doing on the night of the murder?
Gladly.
Love this.
Love it.
I provided Psyche, my keeper, while she spoke with the princes. I'll admit that she did cast invisibility on me during the conversation. She needed to keep me hidden, after all. But I never left the room where my master was. Nor did I steal the sword of spell eating. You have nothing on me, Heavensborn. You don't even have proof that I entered William Frega's study.
So, that's a fucking lie.
Everything there.
I
there
mean,
are so
him not
many-
leaving the room is the most obvious lie.
Yeah, because
Anti-magic. You
Yeah,
honestly
one-
expect us to take your word for it? Or do you have any evidence to support your alibi?
I only speak the truth, Heavensborn. There were mages other than my keeper that could have stolen the sword. And by your own admission, none of your witnesses saw me on the night of the murder. The one lacking evidence is you.
He has a point. You still need definitive proof that ties him to the murder. Presenting contradicting evidence might not be possible. However, he's clearly lying in his testimony, and there's something strange about the way he's speaking. Why is he pausing so much? You're not seeing any thoughts through the eye, but perhaps you can interpret the meaning of his words.
Oh. Being fed info?
So
I'll admit that she did. I feel like it's probably this one, right? keeps taking pauses before certain statements, but not all of them. And more importantly, his word choice was different. Did he slip up? Maranath, it looks like you misspoke and used the wrong word.
What?
Through most of your testimony, you referred to Beatrice Frege as your keeper, but you referred to her as your master during one statement. Why is that? For the first time, he doesn't have a response. So I'll ask you again. Did you leave the ballroom that night?
I didn't leave the room where my master was.
He's using the word master again, even though you pointed it out. Why isn't he correcting it?
Damn it.
Does that mean he's intentionally using that term? If so, why? Beatrice isn't his master. There has to be a reason why. Beatrice is not Maranath's master. Yep. Okay, if you take his words at face value, the master he's referring to isn't Beatrice. And if Beatrice isn't his master, then his statement, "I never left the room where my master was," would technically be true. Oh my god! Oh my god!
He's William Frege's familiar.
Oh my god! And if Beatrice isn't his master, then his statement, "I never left the room where my master was," would technically be true. But why even bother making that distinction? He clearly has no moral hang-ups about committing murder. He could have just lied. Demons apparently pride themselves on tricking and corrupting
Part of
humans.
the pact.
So why wouldn't he just lie in his testimony? Demons are not able to lie. No, it can't be. Demons are clearly different from humans, but would they seriously have a limitation like that? It would explain why Tamara and Beatrice were so opposed to having him testify. There's only one way to know for sure. Witness, can you repeat the following statement for me? Tyrion's Cuthbert hair is green.
What kind of ridiculous request is that?
Another pause.
I'm afraid I must agree, Mr. Cuthbert. Please don't waste our time.
I'm just conducting a little experiment, Your Honor. So, I'll ask you again, Maranath. Say the following phrase. Tyrion Cuthbert's hair is green.
Your Honor, Cuthbert is clearly making trivial requests to solve for time. His request is not worth a response from the witness.
That's not what I'm doing, Tamora, and I think you know that. Maranath, we truly don't know much about demons aside from the stories told in myths. So, is it possible that demons are physically unable to lie?
I'm sorry, Mr. Cuthbert, but that seems quite ridiculous. Why wouldn't the witness be capable of lying?
I genuinely don't know, Your Honor, but his testimony speaks for itself. He can easily refute it by granting my request. Say Tyrion Cuthbert's hair is green, witness.
You said it yourself. Tyrion Cuthbert's hair is green.
That is not what I asked for, witness. Repeat the statement I told you, word for word. Nothing after or before it.
Honor, the prosecution's argument is absurd. The witness is not obligated to fulfill such an outrageous request.
I might be compelled to agree with you, Miss Tamora. If the witness wasn't clearly avoiding fulfilling that request.
Well, we're all waiting, Maranath. You can easily prove me wrong by repeating my statement plainly.
Ah, you filthy heavens born!
Say it, Maranath.
Tyrion Cuthbert's hair is... Tyrion Cuthbert's hair is...
What I learned in boarding school is...
blonde.
Well, technically it's a dirty blonde.
Oh, shut up!
Is Mr. Cuthbert correct, Maranath? Are you actually unable to lie?
I think his silence speaks for itself, Your Honor.
Remarkable. I would never have imagined.
And with that, proving my case becomes a much simpler matter. Maranath, Did you murder William Frege? I'm sure you understand, witness, under these circumstances, saying silent is basically an admission of guilt.
You have no reason to stay quiet, Maranath. Tell him the truth.
Lady Beatrice, what are you?
I believe it's time to come clean. Don't you, Maranath?
I see. So that's your play.
Don't think you can just stall for time, Miss
Oh.
Frege.
Oh!
Marineth has no choice but to answer the question.
Do it, Maranath. Tell the court the truth.
Oh no.
To answer your question, yes. I did murder William Frege.
What are you doing?
Miss Frege, does this mean you are confessing to the murder?
Mm-hmm.
Oh, Your Honor, I'm not admitting to anything. This confession comes from Maranath himself.
But your own familiar just...
Let me ask you a question, Maranath. Did I order you to murder my father?
No, you did not, Lady Beatrice.
What are you talking about? You're lying, aren't you?
Demons are physically unable to lie, Mr. Cuthbert.
Ah, damn it, she's right. She must have done something. Did she plan for this? She must have arranged things so that statement would be technically true. She could have asked someone else to give the order, or she could have just implied it. Either way, she can just plead ignorance and blame everything on Maranath. Still, this isn't over.
Oh? Is that so? Let me tell you. This trial was over the moment Arya turned her blade against me.
I don't care who you are, man, king, or demon. You're not going to get away with this.
Nice alter
I
of
do
that
love
phrase.
the gravitas behind that. But I wonder how long it will last.
Oh, hey, Maranath went on back to the
Hit me
stand.
with your best shot, Heavensborn.
Oh. She said Heavensborn.
Argument.
Mhm. Beatrice Frege, you may have technically ordered your father's murder, but you were clearly acting with malice. You brought something dangerous into the manor, something that you knew would harm your father.
Oh, really? And what would that be? What was so dangerous that implies lethal intent?
I mean,
A
Maranath.
freaking demon.
Yeah. You brought Maranath into Frege Manor that night. You were clearly planning to murder your father from the start.
I require Maranath to see. That does not imply lethal intent.
But you brought a demon into that house, and as a result your father was killed. That's hardly an innocent mistake.
The grant specifically asked if father familiars were allowed. Even reached a written legal confirmation beforehand.
But he couldn't have possibly expected her to bring in a demon.
Didn't specify not to do this. The presence of Maranath did not break any of his rules, nor any laws made in the kingdom.
Right you are, Tamora. I can hardly be blamed if my familiar acts without my knowledge.
How can you be blameless in Maranath's actions? He's your familiar.
Literally cast
By
invisibility
that
on
same
them.
logic, shall we also blame Lord Haraldson for the actions of his pet monkey? If I recall, he broke into the study, tampered with the crime scene, and left my father's body without reporting it.
That's...
Maranath and Eugene are intelligent and sentient creatures. They have their own autonomy. Their keepers aren't legally responsible for their actions.
Damn it, she's playing devil's advocate. Literally. You suppose that's fitting for her. But you still cast invisibility to keep Maranath hidden that night.
Mr. Cuthbert, I always cast invisibility on Maranath. I can't very well let people see him.
Mm.
Face it, Mr. Cuthbert, you have nothing on me. Every crime related to the murder was committed by Maranath.
No, you
Oh.
broke the... You broke the thing. Yeah, you would have needed to break the actual thing. I think it is this one, right? No,
Even
it's
a
this
highly
one.
skilled mage would have. Yep.
Yeah, there we go. Beatrice, Maranath required your magic to break the wards guarding the Sword of Spell Eating. You may be able to explain why you cast invisibility that night, but you can't explain why you cast an evocation spell powerful enough to shatter that display case.
Oh, that. I'd almost forgotten. I plead guilty.
What?
To the charge of grand theft, I mean. I ordered Maranath to help me steal that artifact so I could sell it on the black market. I would have never imagined he'd use it to murder my father.
Right, it doesn't matter if she's found guilty of stealing the sword. The Slayer rule only takes effect if she's found to be responsible for her father's death. Damn it, is there seriously nothing you can do? Maranath will take the fall on Beatrice's behalf. I mean, yeah. No. I think we're deflecting here. No? Are we not?
I think it's threatened.
Oh, maybe. Still doesn't absolve you from bringing a literal demon to the Lord's Ball.
Do you think we'll just accept your flawed claim if you say it over and over again?
But if you recall, we have a written notice allowing her familiar. The law's on our side, nothing illegal about Maranath's presence.
Ah, damn it. Maranath, the sentence for first-degree murder is death. Are you really willing to die for your keeper's crimes?
Oh,
you
stupid Heavensborn. Demons never truly die. When our bodies are destroyed, we return to the abyssal hells.
Hell!
If I were to die in accordance with your laws, I would only return to my plane.
Okay, so yeah. We just needed to threaten him so that he would reveal that. There we go. Oh, what?
Even if I could die, a fate much worse than death awaits me if I fail.
Those three are a pain to argue against when they're all together. You can't break Beatrice's confidence at all.
So, do you have anything else, Mr. Cuthbert?
I
didn't think so. Your Honor, it appears we found the true culprit. I can't believe you killed my father, Maranath. I'm so cross with you.
I should give my apologies. I won't do it again.
You can't do it again. It's
Don't worry.
honor per person.
Now then, is there any reason why this trial hasn't ended already, Your Honor?
Come on, don't you have anything else?
There is one thing.
I'm looking.
Oh, is that all you can do now? Glare at me?
What?
Maranath, what did you just do?
I've been watching him. He's been using an old celestial trick. But it's weak. Your divine gaze won't work here, Heavensborn.
You!
Looks like that was your last piece, Cuthbert.
No, this can't be how it ends. Not after you've come this far.
Also, celestial trick.
Mm-hmm.
What is it you like to say in these situations? Checkmate, Cuthbert.
Well, I have to say this was one of the more eventful trials I've overseen. It was many things, if not enlightening. But I suppose it all ended the same.
Something. Anything.
While I find the defendant's actions quite suspect, I must agree with their argument. Aside from the theft of Lord Haroldson's exhibit, none of Miss Frega's actions that night are illegal under Wyvengard law. And there's no proof that the defendant is responsible for her familiar's actions. With these revelations, I see no room for debate. We will be taking a brief recess. I will announce my verdict once we resume.
Damn it, is this seriously how it's gonna end after everything we've gone through to get here? Oh. That's my bad. Sai, do you want to take Frey for the time being?
Oh, this world is bleak, merciless, and unforgiving. But I've seen you. I know how bright the light within you is. Use my eyes, peer beyond the divine gate as I once did.
Marnath called you a Heavensborn, and your mother told you there's a light within you. You have no idea what that means. What even is the Divine Gate? You have the Eye of Horus. Why are you able to read people's minds? You've been so lost lately, but you thought you finally figured out who you're supposed to be. But all of this, everything you've been working towards, it was all a lie. You've spent your whole life trying to be like Miss Tamora, but is she even like her? No. She just wanted to raise you into a tool for the Eye Taker. She was never your guardian. She was never your mother. Your real mother died years ago. Was right? Is everyone in your life just trying to use you? Looking back on it, you've had no idea what to do with yourself ever since your mother died. You've just been making mistake after mistake. Leaving Oranax, trusting Tamora, becoming an attorney. You've always just done as you're told. Never once made a path for yourself.
But you saved Celeste, and Wallace, and Dracogen, all when no one else would stand up for them. Was helping them a mistake? You fought for a dream that doesn't exist. But that doesn't mean that you can't make it real. It's true that you followed Tamora's lead, but you've always done what you thought was right above anything else.
Also loving this cover of the theme.
You wouldn't have stood up to that criminal if you truly didn't know right from wrong. And you wouldn't be standing here if you'd just done as you were told.
I do.
I'm not going to tell you that. You already know the answer. You've always known the answer.
You take a deep breath and relax your thoughts. Situations can seem hopeless sometimes, but there is always a way to win in the end. Tell a lie that kills Beatrice and Ruby!
What gasp?
That connects Beatrice and Marinath.
Oh, actually.
Oh. Oh. Oh.
Oh?
Oh. Tell a lie.
Yes, go on.
Marinath. Beatrice isn't Marinath's master, just his keeper.
Maybe we use a deduction that connects no, not Harold. Yeah, no. No. No matter what you do, it won't mean anything unless you prove one fact. You need to prove that Beatrice ordered Marinath to kill her father. You would need something strong to prove that. Testimony wouldn't be enough.
Physical
It
evidence.
separates then.
In order to convict Beatrice, I need to prove that she was responsible for Marinath's actions. People leave trails. Even when they think they've committed the perfect crime, something always gets left behind. There has to be something that proves Beatrice gave Marinath an order. Beatrice's relationship with Marinette is clearly different than a relationship between two humans. There's a specific way their relationship works. Oh, a pact.
Act.
Their specific way of their relationship works, or their pact, as Marinette calls it. Wasn't there something that someone said? What was it? Haraldson, right?
Yep.
Alright, the spell of sword eating is said to have been forged using a pact between a demon and a mage.
Isn't making a pact with a demon just asking for trouble? They'd definitely betray you the first chance they got.
Well, legends say that demons often drafted blood contracts for this reason.
Wait, do you mean like a legally binding document?
The concept is similar, but once you sign a blood contract, both you and the demon are magically compelled to fulfill its terms.
That's right, Beatrice must have made a blood contract with him. A legally binding document that must describe how their relationship works. LaFay did tell you that Beatrice would never...
That's Frey.
Oh,
That's
ooh.
Frey.
Yep.
LaFay did tell you that Beatrice would never trust someone that she didn't control.
So she would only put herself in a situation where she had full control over Marinette's actions. But it's not as if they'll ever show it to me. It'd be a tall order to even prove a blood contract even exists.
I guess you have a point. But if you ask me, I think you've done a wonderful job so far. So just this once, let me guide you the rest of the way.
What? Whoa, what?
Tyrion, your eyes don't actually read minds. They give you the means to reveal truths that are being concealed. You can pull the truth out of anyone and anything.
Truth.
So, say it together with me.
Objection! Marinette, dweller of Avernus.
What are you doing?
By the eye of Horus, I issue upon you a divine edict. Release thy guards and manifest your blood contract with Beatrice Freyga.
Oh, holy...
What?
Beatrice's blood contract has been added to your notes. It's a legal document written in blood. It's also 50 pages long. Luckily, you somehow know the excerpt of the exact section you need. Marinette is prohibited from killing or injuring any and all humans. Beatrice Freyga can designate individuals that are exempt from this rule, and exempted individuals will only remain so for 24 hours. After that, Marinette cannot harm them unless told otherwise.
What the hell?
You did it! But how? Is that really your... No, that's not important right now. She gave you what you needed. The rest is up to you.
What in the nine hells was that?
When did you learn to?
Mr. Cuthbert, what just happened?
Your Honor, I
I
just made the
have
witness
no
manifest
idea.
their blood contract.
In what?
Blood contract?
You can think of it as a legally binding document. It lays out the terms of the pact between Beatrice Freyga and her familiar.
Incredible! Where did you learn how to do such a thing?
I don't know.
The internet. Internet.
Wow, to think that our kingdom had access to such knowledge.
Yeah, I'm not buying it. How did you really find out how to do that?
It's a long story, I'll tell you later. I'm not sure if she'd even believe you if you told her. Anyway, the defense's argument is such. Marinette was acting alone, and the defendant is not to blame for his actions that night. However, take a look at page 7 of this blood contract. It specifies that Marinette is prohibited from killing any and all humans. There's only one scenario where he can do so, and that's when Beatrice Freyga designates someone to be exempt from this rule. Beatrice Freyga, you didn't directly order Marinette to kill your father. But you implied it by telling Marinath that he could kill him.
But he could.
That he could kill him. Not only that, you did so within the 24 hours of the Lord's Ball. Your intent was clear. You brought Marinath into Freygar Manor with full knowledge that he could and would kill William Freyga. And that is checkmate.
We have to tell Celeste about the eye now. Like-
Yeah.
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 And just when I thought the surprises were over,
But in the end, we arrived at the truth.
well, I suppose I can't disagree with that.
And you?
What do you have to say for yourself, Lady Frega?
You not call me that.
It's almost funny that you hate that name that much. Your entire plan depended on your claim to the Freyga estate.
Do you have any idea what you've just cost me? Everything has been ruined because of you!
Why should I care? You're just another noble trying to steal power for yourself.
Don't you dare lump me together with those tyrants! We wouldn't have just liberated House Freyga. We would have liberated everyone! Miriam, LeFay, Arya, even Aster. Our system is broken. The only way we can fix it is burning down from the inside. As long as King Olivia sits on the throne, this suffering will only continue.
Oof.
But Lady Frega!
As the prosecutor, I should warn you, you don't want to add treason to your list of crimes. Even though you'd like to see the king ousted as much as she does.
Doesn't matter. I'm done either way. Heavensborn.
Ah,
Look at page 46
Nope.
of the
Marinath.
contract.
Heavensborn. Look at page 46 of the blood contract.
By accepting this pact, Beatrice Freyga forever binds her soul to the abyssal hells. If Beatrice Freyga fails to pay her debt by claiming House Freyga and all of its assets, her soul, mind, and her life will be claimed by the Empress of Discord? Gee, I wonder who that could be. The contract goes on to name several parts of House Freyga's holdings. There's very little room for ambiguity. Wait, she's literally fucking, hang on. Empress of Discord, are you fucking kidding me? Hang on, that just clicked. God, could you get any more on the nose, game? Very funny.
I was almost right. She just jumped to the wrong conclusion. My debts were never to the Eye Taker. They were to the Abyssal Hells.
Curb,
Mm-hmm.
little bit of context.
Eris
my
is
brain-
literally Eris is literally the god of discord and chaos.
I'm gonna shut up.
Yep. Why would you agree to something like this?
Because I miscalculated. In this folder are records of your many plots against House Steelwind and the Crown. It would be a shame if this information fell into their hands.
You think this feeble attempt at blackmail would frighten me? I've dealt with far more formidable adversaries than you. There's nothing I can't solve with House Freyga's resources.
What are you talking about? Lucio Steelwind isn't the type of person you can just buy.
Clear, your time away has taught you nothing. Everyone can be bought.
Before I left, he controlled every aspect of my life. I saw him as this unstoppable tyrannical force. But I never even considered one possibility. That William Freyga was a sheltered moron.
He honestly thought he could pay off Lucio Steelwind. Anyone who'd met him would know that that would never work.
I could have sent this information to House Steelwind and the King. But I was running out of time. I needed to inherit House Freyga as soon as I could. I felt trapped, I felt angry. I just wanted something to change.
Something about this feels wrong. Something deep inside you is crying out in anger. Blood contract is still a legal contract, isn't it?
What?
If it's a contract, we can dispute it. We can find some kind of loophole to get you out of it.
What? Trying to redeem the enemy you just defeated? You really are a headless born.
I'm sorry, Mr. Cuthbert. But I won't accept your help.
Why? We can at least try, right? Did you seriously come this far just so you can die?
To dispute a blood contract is to bet your own soul. If you fail to render it null, your soul will be dragged to hell alongside hers. Even your divine blood won't save you from that fate.
But still, I can't just...
You beat me, Mr. Cuthbert. I don't want to drag anyone else down with me anymore. Not you. Not LaFay. Not Miriam. Despite everything, I still have my dignity.
I believe there's no further need to prolong this trial. Bailiff, please escort Lady Frigga and her familiar to a holding cell. I'll be passing my verdict shortly.
Hey, are you okay?
It's okay as I can be. Still feel uneasy about how things turned out. Doesn't quite feel like the victory you were hoping for. You fought against the demons, and you can't help but feel like you lost.
Cuthbert, we need to talk. What's done?
Oh, Pokemon?
Hello?
Oh, hello.
Uh,
You cut out for a second.
sorry. What's done is done. The boss isn't going to take kindly to what you've done today. I know it's a long shot, but maybe if you talk to him, he'll...
No.
Cuthbert, this is serious. He's going to send people after you. Dangerous people. You can't just ignore this. Please just listen to me and...
Shut up.
Tyrion!
How could you do this? How could you work with criminals?
Cuthbert,
Everything you told me, all those ideals about protecting the weak, is all a lie. Everything Commander White said about you is true, isn't it?
I'm just trying to...
I don't want your help! As you yell at her, your voice travels through the lobby. Several of the people nearby turn silent. I gave up everything for you! My childhood, my home, my happiness! I left it all behind to chase the ideal that you told me you were fighting for! It was never real, was it? You made me throw away everything! All for the goddamn lie! But I'll make it real. And I'll do so without you.
Tyrion,
She reaches her hand out to you. You step away from her. You never cared about me, did you? All you cared about was using the Eye of Horus.
That's not...
Shut up! I don't want to hear any more of your damn lies. Go away. Get the hell away from me! I never want to see you again! Without a word, she walks away from you.
Tyrion.
She reaches out a hand to hold yours again, but she hesitates this time.
Oh, fucking Eris, I hate this bitch.
Yep. No.
What?
Can't believe it. We actually won. Tyrion,
Celeste, there's no way for you to avoid checkmate the next turn. Just surrender.
Yeah, what about that?
Checkmate.
Damn it! Been acting weird since we arrived at Oranax. Does that have something to do with your mother? Please, just talk to me. I'm your friend, aren't I?
Your hands are trembling. Why are you so scared right now? You feel Celeste hold your trembling hand from behind you. It's the same sensation you felt back then. Your anxiety fades and you take a deep breath. I'm not going to do that, Miss Tamora. As she hesitates to hold your hand, you reach out and grasp it. She smiles as you take hold of it. She seems glad you didn't pull away this time. Without thinking, you pull her into a hug. Sorry, I just really need this right now. Should I stop?
No, it's just... The people are staring at us.
Who cares what they think? They're nobles. They're gonna hate us no matter what we do.
I would die for embarrassed Celeste.
That's her own words as well. That's so cute. He turned it on her when she started dancing. Ah, it's so good. You're still unsure of what you're going to do next, but perhaps you don't need to. Even if Tamora's ideal was a lie. Hey, Celeste. There's something I've been wanting to tell you about.
Oh, what is it?
It's hard to explain, really. I don't know where to begin. But it's about an ability I have. I call it the Eye of Horus. Even if that ideal was a lie, you have the power to make it real. And even if you can't trust Tamora anymore, you have people in your life that you can trust. Yeah! Let's go!
Let's go. Oh. I felt so good when you fucking said no.
Yeah.
Oh, that fuck. Mitty?
His eye.
Sorry, sorry, I was typing something.
We're not done yet.
What a fine mess this is. That kid has completely and utterly ruined everything. As much as Tamora hates it, we're going to need to put him in the ground.
I don't think that'll be necessary.
Sorry, love. I know you're fond of him, but I can't let an insult like this go unanswered. He's gonna have to pay the price.
I think you've misunderstood me, Father. I meant that this facade is no longer necessary.
What? What the hell?
Is something wrong, Father?
Who the hell are you? You look nothing like my daughter. So what?
It happened centuries ago, I believe. Your great ancestor hated the monarchy and needed a weapon to fight the mages of the noble house. So, he made a pact with me.
What are you talking about?
But things didn't turn out like you wanted, I'm afraid. Poor Lord Lyran's plot was discovered, and his noble house was stripped of its rank and status. His very name was stricken from the annals of history. He was supposed to give me Wyverngard, but I had to settle for claiming his bloodline.
Lyran? How do you know about my name? No one knew about that name. Not even my real daughter.
I know it's been centuries, but I haven't forgotten, John. Everyone in your bloodline belongs to me, including your daughter.
Oh no. Oh no!
You bastard! What did you do to her?
what I do to all my prey. I made her suffer.
No.
Did you know that she was crying out to you for months? I made her watch, you know. I made her watch as I took her place. All while the father that she so desperately called out for forgot who she was. All while my minions slowly and painfully tore her soul apart.
You monster! You goddamn monster!
I enjoyed her torment while it lasted. But even that couldn't satisfy me. What I really crave is the blood of a Celestial.
That's what this is about, that stupid kid!
But I can't have you kill my dear Tyrion just yet. At least not until I'm done with him.
You goddamn demon! I'll kill you!
This man is your enemy. Your life's goal is and has always been to exact revenge on him.
What the hell are you talking about?
You. I lost everything because of you. They kicked me out of the Inquisition because of your false testimony.
What? Let go of me!
You killed my entire family. I won't let you get away with this.
What are you talking about? I didn't do anything!
Hey, isn't that the noble that killed all those children? I heard he got released by paying off the judge.
What are you talking about? Get away from me!
Don't lie to us. We know what you did.
No! Stay away!
We finally enter the final act, my dearest Tyrion. And from what I've seen, I think I know exactly how I'm going to break you. I hope you're just as excited as I am.
I just want to bring up that the name Lyrian, Lear, Eye Taker.
Yeah, it's cute. That's actually that's a very fun spot, yeah. Oh no!
Oh,
I have a really bad feeling about who his daughter is.
Well then.
I really hope I'm wrong. I really, really, really hope I'm wrong about that. But I guess we'll
Dude.
find out next time. Until then,
You're thinking the same thing I am. Shit.
thank you all so very much for stopping by. Take care of yourselves. And we'll catch you in the next stream.
good lord! I need next week now.